back in the late 60s, early 70s, you know, when people had to go to normal jobs, the image that is about to pop up on the screen was one that represented what America wanted people to see: clean, decent respectability, societal upstandingness. Not that that's a word, that's just something I made up. I can remember seeing this face on America's Most Wanted, and as years ago, and thinking, how can someone like this be someone that decided one day that he was going to kill his wife, his 3 children, and his mother? The List family were a very reclusive family to begin with. Didn't really deal with their neighbors. So what John List did on the day that he got tired of being this family man is that early in the morning, after his kids were gone to school, he shot dead his wife. Then he shot his mom through the eye, but the bullet still killed her because I think she bled out. I don't remember exactly how it happened. His 2 oldest kids come home, or 2 of his kids come home. His only daughter, he shoots her dead. Then the son come through and he shoots him. For the final child, he goes to his, I think, soccer game or something, some sports game or basketball or something he was playing at school. Acted like a normal parent would at the game, took the boy home, and then tried to kill him. But autopsy later revealed, when they found them all dead a month later, that this youngest one, the last one to die, had defensive wounds suggesting he tried to fight back. From 1971 to the early 2000s, John List disappeared. And it was widely believed that John List had gone on and lived a life. Because his body was never found, no one ever assumed he was a victim because they were so reclusive. They assumed he did it. So after changing his identity and remarrying, somewhere in the very early 2000s, they finally found him under assumed identity alive. He said financial problems in the home because he was the breadwinner. Remember, this is the 1970s, so there was still a certain amount of women who still stayed in the home. So he said finances and his children straying from his Lutheran faith was the reason. And mind you, this dude was a Sunday school teacher, I think, fought in the Korean War. Everything from the outer appearance made him look upstanding, besides the fact that him and his family acted a little reclusive according to the neighbors. Notes had been sent to school saying that they were out of town visiting a sick relative. And it was only a month later, when no one continued to respond, that suspicion mounted. He died in prison, I think, in 2008. Because he got life sentences for all those murders. Okay. So in this story right here, this guy was sitting at his house cleaning his gun. He'd been drinking, and we don't know the rest of the circumstances. And his wife kept saying, leave the gun alone, put that gun away before it hurts you, la la la. He got tired of what he saw as her nagging, shot her in the chest. At least that's how the story read. I forgot exactly where he shot her. Their daughter is somehow there, and he says she went into a rage, so he also shot her. This article ticks me off because they're making it seem like the gun caused the issue and not the man who shot it. So why is it that we conveniently try to set certain people up as being victims of a crime that they themselves committed. If the gun went off by accident when he was drunk because his wife was ticking him off, they claim, this article claims, that he aimed the gun at her and she fell. When the daughter got upset and I guess launched at her father, then he also aimed at her. Seems premeditated, right? You can say he's incapacitated and drunk. So why is it in the affidavit when he was taken in? Mind you, this is a man whose wife and daughter are now dead. It's written in the affidavit that this dude bragged about how historically, or in the history of his own life, how he was an excellent shot. Not the right words to say after you've shot and killed your wife and daughter, okay? Just not the right set of words. And you're in your 70s, and they're both dead, and you're being charged with first-degree murder. You're gonna die in prison, sir. They could drop those charges to second-degree murder, which I doubt they're gonna do. You're dying in prison, sir. Let me tell you why I think that this story is similar to the guy John List, okay? And it's going to be one of the more messed up conversations I'm going to have. See, this guy is old just like John List and grew up in a same and similar circumstances. Where back then when you get married, no matter how much somebody annoyed you or how much you disliked them, you just sucked it up and put up with it. I'm not excusing what John List did. I think that he was somebody who hid behind religion to off his family. He could have just walked out of their lives, changed his identity, and never went back. But instead, he premeditated their murders. This was not premeditated because the guy was drunk. But when the daughter launched at him after he may have accidentally shot the wife, he shot her without hesitation. An indication that he looked at these two individuals not as his loving wife and his child, but as burdens that were in his way. That's going to make people mad, but please allow me to explain, because you'll sit here and say, well, if you go to their social media, they did this together, they were a happy family, and they were this. Let me tell you why this is the same as John List. The motives are not the exact same, but it's the same thing. And let me tell you why. You are all still living a lie. Not all of you. Let me take that back. A lot of people still live the lie that what you see on the surface is what is. Your face value of what you see is the reason you're so shocked that these things are still happening. Oh, they went here together. They took trips together. They were inseparable. It's called going through the motions. People can sit and pretend to be happily married to somebody for years and secretly want that person dead. Her seemingly caring behavior, this wife, to him was a trigger to go ahead and shoot her. Now, that first shot when he took her down, you could just say he was drunk, but because he immediately took that daughter down, then told the cops in custody how good of a shot he was. Where is your distraught behavior? Where is your remorse? There wasn't any. See, John List changed his identity because he didn't want to go to prison. But for the time in society as a man, he probably felt the changing times. And again, I'm not defending him. I think John List deserved what he got in the end. It was weighing down on him. It's possible that when this guy shot his wife not too long ago and his daughter, he was probably putting up a public act of being a good family. Because if he had just shot the wife and allowed the daughter to call 911, you could say this is an accident. No, he saw them both as burdens he wanted out of the way. This is not to say that he wants to spend time in prison, because he's going to. But living in a life that you really didn't desire can feel like a prison, and it can move you to desperation. I told you this video gonna make some people mad. Sometimes the family that certain people cultivate, the public image that people put up, is a ploy to cover up what they're really thinking. Because people know that you don't know what they're really thinking. It's not so easy to say that this act is something that was done in a fit of rage fully. With the wife, I believe it was. With the daughter, he was displaying, y'all both getting on my nerves. Today was that rotten day, so I'm going to shoot both of you. We could still have said there was an accident had he not gone in that affidavit and boasted about how good of a shot he was. That's not something that you do or should do as a bereaved husband. Understand that what you see on the surface and what's real are two different things, and people aren't as happy as you think they are. We can say the same thing about that Watts guy in Colorado who killed his two daughters and dropped them down, I believe, in an oil rig, then killed his pregnant wife who was pregnant with their son. People who knew them didn't see that coming, but then he had such a secretive life. Here's the thing. Stop believing what a picture tells you, what a video tells you, what a public image tells you. Because a lot of it is a lie. And if it's not a lie and it is the truth, congratulations. But that photo and that video will never tell the whole story.